Canada was getting ready for something new. Everyone was watching, wondering what will happen next. The Liberal Party, one of the main political groups, had chosen a new leader. This wasn't just any new leader, it was someone unexpected. His name is Mark Carney. The name might not be familiar to everyone like a famous hockey player or movie star, but in the world of money and economics, he's very well known. He's an economist. That means he studies how money works, how countries trade, and how jobs are created. It's a bit like being a doctor for the country's economy. He's had big jobs before, important jobs, but this was something completely different. Before this, Mark Carney was in charge of the Bank of Canada. This was a long time ago, back in 2008. 2008 was a tough year for the world. Many countries had big problems with their money. It was like a big storm hitting the world's economy. Carney was the head of the Bank of Canada during this storm, helping to guide the country through it, so he has the experience to withstand great pressure. But, and this is important, Carney had never been a politician. He had never been a member of parliament. He'd never run for office. He'd always been behind the scenes, working with numbers and policies. Now he was stepping into the spotlight. He was moving from the quiet world of banks and numbers to the noisy world of politics. This change is big, so all eyes are set on him. The old leader, Justin Trudeau, was still around. He was still the Prime Minister, the top job in Canada, but he was getting ready to pass the torch. He was going to stay for a little while to help Carney get used to things. Think of it like a captain of a ship showing the new captain the ropes. Trudeau wouldn't leave right away. He'd stay to make sure everything went smoothly. Carney was now the leader of the Liberal Party, but he wasn't Prime Minister yet. To become Prime Minister, there would be an election. An election is when all the people in Canada vote for who they want to lead the country. It's a big deal, like the finals of a big tournament. This election was coming soon, sometime before October. October is a time when leaves change color and the weather becomes chilly. Elections in Canada are a bit like that. They show that something new is around the corner. It's a time of change. Why is this election so important? Because Canada was facing some big challenges. It's like a video game where you have to overcome different obstacles. The next leader would have to deal with these challenges. One of the biggest challenges was coming from the United States, from their president, Donald Trump. He had put taxes on things that Canada sells to the US. These taxes are called tariffs. This means the US made Canadian products very expensive. So Mark Carney, the economist, the former Bank of Canada head, the man who had never been a politician, was now leading a major political party. He was getting ready for a big election. He was facing big challenges. It was a new chapter for him and a new chapter for Canada. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. The air was filled with anticipation, like the moments before a big game begins. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Things were changing in Canada, and Mark Carney was at the center of it all. Mark Carney stood in front of a big crowd. People were cheering and clapping. It was a very important day. He was about to tell everyone his plans. Think of it like a new coach explaining his game plan to the team and the fans. Everyone wanted to hear what he had to say. Carney started to speak. He talked about working together. He said Canada needed to be united. Unity means everyone working together, like a team pulling in the same direction. He said it was important for everyone to think about the common good. This means thinking about what is best for everyone in Canada, not just for a few people. It's like sharing your toys with your friends so everyone can have fun. He also spoke about the rule of law. This means that everyone, even the leaders, must follow the rules. It's like playing a game. Everyone has to follow the same rules to make it fair. Nobody is above those rules. Carney made sure everyone understood that rules were essential. Then, Carney made a big promise. He said he would work to build a stronger Canada. He wanted to make the country better and more powerful. It's like promising to make a building stronger so it can withstand any storm. He wanted to make sure that Canadians could weather any storms that might come their way. He talked about money. He said he wanted to be careful with the country's money. This is called fiscal responsibility. It means spending money wisely and not wasting it. It's like saving your allowance to buy something you really want, instead of spending it all at once on candy. Carney has promised to use the country's money like it was his very own. He also talked about social justice. This means being fair to everyone. It means making sure everyone has a chance to do well, no matter where they come from or who they are. It's like making sure everyone gets a fair slice of the cake at a birthday party. Carney also believed Canada should be a leader in the world. This is called international leadership. He wanted Canada to be a good example to other countries. It's like being the captain of a team and showing good sportsmanship, even when things get tough. It also meant working and trading with other countries in a fair manner, but not everyone agreed with Carney's ideas. Some people had different plans. Carney mentioned two things that some people wanted to keep, but he wanted to change: the carbon tax and the capital gains tax. The carbon tax is a tax on things that cause pollution, like driving a car or heating a house. Carney wanted to get rid of this tax. The capital gains tax is a tax on the money people make when they sell something for a profit, like a house or a stock. Carney wanted to stop a plan to make this tax higher. Carney's main plan was to help people have more money. He wanted to make changes so that people would have more money in their pockets. This means people would have more money to spend on things they need or want, like groceries, clothes, or fun activities. He wanted to make the economy better so that everyone could benefit. He said it a lot. He really stressed this point. People need more money, according to Carney. He thinks this will make Canada stronger. It was a simple message, but a powerful one. People listened carefully, wondering how he would do it. The room was buzzing with excitement and questions. Canada had a big problem with its neighbor, the United States of America. It was like having a friend who suddenly starts acting unfriendly. The problem was caused by the US President Donald Trump. He had made some decisions that were hurting Canada. Trump had put taxes on things that Canada sold to the US. These taxes are called tariffs. Imagine you sell cookies to your neighbor, and suddenly they start charging you extra money just to sell them. That's what tariffs are like. They make it harder for Canada to sell its goods, like wood, metal, and other products. This hurt Canadian businesses and the people who worked for them. Canada didn't just sit back and do nothing. They responded. They put their own tariffs on things they bought from the US. This is called retaliatory tariffs. It's like saying, if you're going to charge us extra, we'll charge you extra too. It's a way of fighting back, but with rules and money, not with fists. Carney said that Canada needed to protect its workers and businesses. He wanted to make sure that people didn't lose their jobs because of the tariffs. It's like a coach protecting his players from getting hurt in a game. He promised that all proceeds gathered from the Canadian tariffs would be to that effect. But the problem was bigger than just tariffs. Carney said that Trump and the US were a threat to more than just Canada's money. He said they were a threat to Canada's resources, like its water and land. He even said they were a threat to the Canadian way of life. This means the way Canadians live, their values, and what they believe in. It's like someone trying to change the rules of your favorite game, making it less fun and fair. Carney pointed out some big differences between Canada and the US. He talked about health care. In Canada, health care is a right. This means everyone can go to the doctor or the hospital when they need to, without worrying about how much it will cost. In the US, health care is more like a business. It can be very expensive and not everyone can afford it. This is a very relevant difference. He also talked about how the two countries are made up of different people. He said the US is a melting pot. This means that people from different countries come to the US and become American, mixing together like ingredients in a soup. Canada, he said, is a mosaic. This means that people from different countries keep their own cultures and traditions, like different pieces of a colorful mosaic picture. They fit together, but each piece remains distinct. Carney was very clear. Canada was not going to become part of the US. He said it would never happen in any way, shape, or form. It's like saying your team will never join the other team, no matter what. He was determined to defend Canada's independence. Independence means being free to make your own choices and live your own way. It's like being able to choose your own clothes or your own friends. Carney promised to protect that for Canada. He was firm in this resolve, repeating it multiple times to make sure everyone understood. Canada would remain Canada, no matter what. Mark Carney wasn't just worried about Donald Trump and the US. He also had concerns about another politician in Canada, a man named Pierre Poilievre. Carney thought Poilievre had the wrong ideas for Canada's future. It's like two chefs having different recipes for the same dish. Carney thought his recipe was better. Carney said Poilievre was a lifelong politician. This means someone who has spent their whole life in politics and maybe doesn't understand how things work outside of government. Carney, on the other hand, had worked in the private sector. This means he had worked for businesses, not for the government. He said he knew how the economy really worked because he had been a part of it. It's like someone who has played a sport professionally understanding the game better than someone who has only watched it on TV. Carney had a plan for a new economy. He wanted Canada to make new friends, to trade with other countries that were reliable. Reliable means countries that Canada could trust. It's like choosing friends who are always there for you, not just when things are good. He planned on making deals with countries that Canada could be friends with for many years. His plan had many parts. He wanted Canada to control its own economic destiny. This means Canada would decide its own future, like choosing your own path in life. He wanted the government to spend less money, so there would be more money to invest in important things. It's like saving your allowance so you can buy something bigger later on. He also wanted to build many new homes. He said there weren't enough houses for everyone, and building more would help. He talked about millions of homes. This is a very large number, showing how serious he was about the problem. He wanted to create new sources of energy and take from existing energy sources. He also wanted the provinces to trade freely between each other. He also talked about energy, both clean energy like solar and wind power and regular energy like oil and gas. He wanted Canada to be strong in both. He spoke of trade corridors, which are like roads and railways for moving goods to other countries. And he emphasized a united Canadian economy, meaning all parts of Canada working together, not separately. Carney said that a strong economy was important for many reasons. It wasn't just about money. It was about having good health care for everyone, supporting older people, seniors, providing childcare for young families, and creating a sustainable world for future generations. Sustainable means living in a way that doesn't harm the environment, so that our children and grandchildren can enjoy a healthy planet. It was all connected, he explained. A strong economy made all these good things possible. It was the foundation for a better future for all Canadians.